I've been a therapist for over 10 years, and I've come to realize that there really are only two types of anxious people. And it's really important you figure out which type of anxious person you are so you can figure out what you need to do to make your anxiety go away. Because oftentimes we end up doing the very thing that makes our anxiety worse. And I just want to be clear, I'm not talking about different forms of anxiety. Obviously, there's many different forms of anxiety: social anxiety, generalized anxiety, OCD, things like that. I'm talking about the personality types, the type of person and how they relate to their anxiety. So the first type of anxious person is what I call the overdoer. The overdoer is the person who lives in constant fear of life's chaos. They cannot handle any amount of uncertainty in their life. They need to know exactly what is going to happen and when it's going to happen. They need to make sure that they mitigate any possibility for disaster or chaos or catastrophe in their life. So these are your planners, your checkers, your overthinkers. They're always making sure that they cross all their T's and dot all their I's so they don't have any problems in the future. But what ends up happening with these people is the more they try to control their life, the more they realize they can't control their life because life by definition is chaotic. So they might get a brief sense of relief after they do something to try to control a situation, and they feel okay momentarily until the next potential disaster comes up and now they're freaking out again. And the second type of anxious person is what I call the underdoer. This is the person who is so consumed by anxiety that they don't do anything. When they get hit with real life stressors, they freeze, they crumble, they don't know how to handle things. They're too overwhelmed with what life has to throw at them, so instead they escape and they withdraw. These people will push off all sorts of responsibility just to get some momentary relief by escaping into video games, books, or whatever else they're doing to try to escape the actual stress in their life. The problem is, the more they try to escape their life, the bigger their real problems grow. And then once they realize that their problems are getting bigger, the fear heightens and they feel more crippled by the mounting tasks that are starting to take over their life. So you can see you have two very different ways of dealing with anxiety, and both of these people are responding in ways that are actually making their anxiety worse. And what's interesting is the solution for both of these types of people is to do the exact opposite of what they're doing, to do what the other group of people are doing. The overdoer needs to learn to let things be, to not try to control things, to allow a little bit more chaos and unpredictability into their life, to let things go awry once in a while. So that way they can learn that even if things don't go perfectly, they can survive it. They can manage it. They will not completely fall apart. And the underdoer needs to realize that they are not completely helpless. There are things that they can do to get more control over their life.